Mr. Speaker, let's call this for what it is. This bill is not just a line item. It is the receipt for a decade of Labor mismanagement. Because when you need to come back to Parliament and ask for an extra $5.7 billion, that's not a rounding error. That's not bad luck. That's a government that simply could not manage a budget. And Queenslanders are the ones left paying the price. And let's break it down. Labor's last budget wasn't built to last a year. It was built to limp through an election like, something limp and lifeless and ready for retirement. Sugar hits and brain farts with ideas of state-owned fuel stations, because nothing says cost of living relief like putting the same people who blew out the budget in charge of petrol prices. Can you imagine the prices right now? My other favourite was the free school lunches, another headline grabber, followed by soggy sandwiches, a soggy sandwich series on socials to jam at home. Yes.
I didn't hear it myself, but I understand that she used a phrase which was unparliamentary.
I withdraw.
I ask you withdraw that. Thank you. You have the call.
I withdraw. My other favourite was free school lunches, another headline grabber, followed by a soggy sandwich series on socials to jam at home by the former Labor Premier. Yes, it takes a certain kind of genius to think making sandwiches online the night before school counts as leadership, but that's pretty stale for sure. Free school lunches sounded good until you ask who's paying and how they're planning to deliver it, with a major shortage of volunteers and a shortage of commercial kitchens in schools. Again, another sugar hit idea that was uncosted and unbudgeted in a hope to get re-elected. And that was just their election campaign. But let's talk about what they did as a government. The Labor Party underfunded frontline services knowingly. They buried cost blowouts deliberately, and they left behind a trail of budget black holes that we are now cleaning up. Over $2 billion extra for Queensland Health alone, hundreds of millions for more for child safety, housing and victim support. A so-called budget that didn't even fund the services people rely on every single day. And what does that tell you? It tells you Labor wasn't managing the books, they were managing headlines. Even independent observers saw it. Warnings about fiscal discipline, a waning fiscal discipline, concerns about rising debt and structural deficits, a credit rating under pressure. And let's not forget the big ones. Projects that blew out billions, the Cross River Rail, ballooning far beyond what Queenslanders were told, and a hospital announced but no funding to run it. Promises made, headlines secured, reality ignored. And when the truth caught up, they split their own blowouts across multiple bills, hoping that no one would notice. But Queenslanders notice. They notice when services aren't there. They notice when infrastructure stalls, and they notice when governments promise more than they can deliver. And most importantly, they voted for change. Speaker, because of Queenslanders, what they want is not spin. They want stability, they want honesty, and they want a government that respects their money, that manages a budget like we manage our own budget in our own homes, in our own businesses, like real, responsible, normal human beings that haven't been in the government gravy train for their whole professional life. That's exactly what we are delivering on this side of the House. Now, let me talk about what it looks like on the ground, because this is where it matters, not in budget papers, not in press releases, but in real outcomes for real communities. In my community of Far North Queensland, we're getting on with the job. We are investing in health because people deserve access to care when they need it, not months or years down the track. And we are investing a record $1 billion and underway. We are stabilising elective surgery wait lists. We are investing in hospital infrastructure, and we are making sure that when we announce a hospital, we actually fund it to operate. And that's the difference. I know, novel. We are investing in roads and transport, because in Far North Queensland, distance matters. Better roads mean better, safer travel. The Western Arterial Road, the Bruce Highway, and the brand new Barron River Bridge. They mean stronger connections between communities, and they mean economic opportunity, because when goods and people can move, regions grow. And importantly, we're delivering permanent 50-cent fares, real cost of living relief for families, workers and students, not a trial, not a short-term fix, but permanent. We're also investing in housing and community safety, because every Queenslander deserves a safe place to live. We are filling the funding gaps Labor left behind in housing and homelessness services. We are backing victim support, and we are addressing the pressures that were ignored for too long. And Speaker, we are investing in something that matters deeply to Far North Queensland, tourism and lifestyle, because this is not just about visitors, it's about jobs, it's about local pride, and it's about building communities where people want to live, work and stay. Under the former Tourism Minister and member for Cairns, tourism was set to have a 95% budget cut, drop from $160 million to $8 million. They were going to halve TEQ's budget in the lead-in to the Olympic and Paralympic Games, Queensland's premier tourism marketing body. Can you imagine what that would have meant for Far North Queensland and tourism, with 1 in 7 people employed by tourism in Far North Queensland? Nothing for events in Cairns, nothing for aviation, and nothing for product development. Absolutely shameful. We'll be investing $1 billion into tourism over the next 4 years. And let's not remind everyone about the Wangari Trail fail, Australia's most expensive footpath with a budget blowout costing $22.5 million for 7.8 kilometres of trail, because the member for Cairns wanted stage 1 delivered before the election, no matter the cost. There was no Barlow Park upgrade in the budget and no Smithfield mountain biking trail, both projects our government have committed to. The member for Cairns never, ever thought mountain biking was something to invest in, and this project fell on deaf ears for a decade. But we have committed $15.5 million to the Smithfield Mountain Biking Park, and the project is well and truly on track. And this will bring in approximately $100 million annually into the local economy when it's complete, a great investment for tourism. This is world-class infrastructure right on our doorstep, and it attracts international visitors, it supports local businesses, and it gives our community something to be proud of. And it's exactly the kind of smart, strategic investment that delivers long-term results. And when I look across at what we've delivered locally, it's not one project, it's not one announcement, it's a pipeline of outcomes. Upgrades to community infrastructure, support for local organisations, investment in safer roads and stronger services, because representation isn't about turning up when it's easy, it's about persistence, it's about doing the work day in, day out, listening, persisting, delivering, and that's what I've always believed. And it's all about trust. When a government announces something, it will be delivered. Trust that budgets are honest, trust that decisions are made with the long term in mind, not just the next election, because once trust is lost, it's hard to rebuild, and after a decade of Labor, Queenslanders have lost that trust, and we are brick by brick rebuilding it calmly, methodically and responsibly. And let me be clear, this is not about going backwards, this is not about moving forward, it's about moving forward stronger, with better infrastructure, with stronger services and with a government that understands the responsibility it has to every Queenslander, because every dollar we spend is not government money, it's Queensland's money. And it deserves respect. So yes, Mr. Speaker, this bill reflects the mess we inherited, but it also reflects something else. It reflects the government willing to step up, take responsibility and fix it.